AI gives you what you give it. So if you're able to really be detailed and think about what you want to say, it's just able to enhance your voice, but it's not a substitute for your thinking or your voice.
Welcome to another episode of Women XAI, the podcast. We previously covered AI in sales, AI in data, and AI go-to-market. And today we're diving into how AI is transforming product management, from ideation and strategy to the development cycles and consumer insight. We're exploring how product leaders are actually leveraging AI to build better products faster while maintaining human-centric design. Both Jenny and I are hosting today.
Hello.
And we're joined by four incredible voices in product management, and I would love for them to introduce themselves. So I will hand the mic to Namisha.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited I get to chat with you and all these wonderful leaders. A little bit about myself. I've been in product management for over a decade. Started off my career in hardware product management at HP, moved over to streaming and gaming at Twitch and Amazon. And then I spent the last considerable number of years in the digital health space, focused on every aspect you could think of, the consumer side, the partnership side, and the internal side. And really excited to kind of chat and learn from the folks here around how they're implementing AI and kind of how it's been transforming the landscape over the past year.
Welcome, Namisha. Mayan?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation. My name is Mayan, and I'm a principal product manager at Amazon on the search team. Previously to Amazon, I've worked mainly on AR and VR products. So I worked at Lenovo and at a small startup where both Reut and Jenny and I worked, which was called Meta, not the Facebook Meta, but a small startup that was doing both hardware and software. Looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you for joining us, Mayan. Dr. Nancy?
Cool. Welcome, guys. Thank you for having me. I am Dr. Nancy Lee, a direct product featuring Forbes, and I've helped 1,000 people land the dream PM job offer in FAN companies and unicorn startups through my own coaching company called PM Accelerator. However, I started my product management career as an engineer in Shell Oil, and then quickly transitioned into AI product management and launched my first AI product back in 2016. And that product received the Mayor's Best Practice Award, leading to another $100 million in PPP deals, and then got me the fast promotion, become a direct product within 4 years. And then fast forward, after I had my 2 babies, I decided to go full-time teaching and helping thousands of people break into product management and also grow their career as a product leader and also get into AI product management.
That is incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Nancy, and welcome.
And actually, lots of people might know me already, and through our YouTube channels and own podcast, but Insider Podcast, and also LinkedIn Up Voice as well. And anybody who's looking for learning for free, going to all our social channels by search Dr. Nancy Lee, PM Accelerator.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nancy Lee, and welcome. Last but not least, Jasmine, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. This is Jasmine. Very excited to be here today. I'm in the product management domain and right now in the EV charging industry. My journey actually began in engineering, where I was deeply involved in solving some of the technical challenges and building the system itself in the automotive domain, starting from like how Apple CarPlay, Android Auto works, and then, of course, getting into the EV charging company itself. Over the time, I realized what was inspiring me solving the problems which people have. It was more about understanding the people. I found myself drawn to the why behind all the features, what customers are actually struggling with, what they value the most, and how the technology could make their experience better. I am deeply passionate about how AI is redefining the product management today. It's not about just automating the task, but amplifying the creativity, empathy, and the insight. Yeah, so very excited to be here. Looking forward to the conversation and learning from all the fabulous, wonderful women who are out here. So yeah, let's get started.
Welcome, everyone. And I want for us to quickly zoom out a little bit and really understand why does this discussion around AI in product management matters right now. So, Dr. Nancy, you can help us better understand why are we having this discussion.
AI has transformed product management significantly in the past almost 2 years and also accelerated in the past year, I think. So for example, and starting from when my own company and actually inside of PM Accelerator, we also have our own AI bootcamp. So AI product management bootcamp, which teaching people build real life AI product. We're able to build 40 real life AI product and launch to end users within only 11 weeks. It was because the process of how people creating product has changed by using AI and also by how you leverage the new framework to create AI product. Let me break it down to you guys. First of all, how AI impacting product management is you can use AI so much more regarding to voice customer interviews, doing lots of summarization. And on top of that, you can also use something called like a chat PRD, and lots of people been using that to write PRD. You can also use AI to do system architecture diagram. And lots of those, like almost every aspect of product management that you need to work with others. Maybe in the past, dependencies. You need to wait designer give you some fast prototype, or you can just use AI to quickly present what you really meant. So the speed of building products significantly sped up in the past like a year or so. Now recently, since the beginning of this year, also had vibe coding, which is no-code tools, which is quite popular nowadays, and which also give lots of great opportunities in terms of product managers. Doesn't have to be every single day begging developer, please get it done for me. You can see those like very, very funny memes out there regarding the interaction between engineers and PMs. Now it's reversed. It's more about, hey, we are all able to use vibe coding to quickly see some concept. But I still think the relationship between like engineers, product manager is still the same. We're still needing the engineer to build real life AI product without putting a production level, but product manager is able to generate some quick concept for us to win the buy-in from the stakeholders. So much changes in the product management space. And then there's also coming another question regarding how can we create better AI product? Not only we use AI product as a product manager, everybody also want to move into AI nowadays because AI has replaced 25% jobs last year, entry-level jobs last year in tech industry is publicly available information. And people feel like in order to add more innovation, also lots of competitive advantage for all product managers also want to be like, not only I use AI, I want to be the one who create AI product, which also led to different kind of framework to create AI product, which I can share with you guys later on. We invent our own life cycle development framework that can speed up product development. And so yes, that's like entire product management changed significantly.
Absolutely agree with you, Dr. Nancy. It enhancing our productivity, how we build the product, but it also enhancing our workflow and how we bring our work to the forefront, right? Like how do we create PRD? How do we make mock-up designs for our designer and kind of like get things started? And not starting from a clean slate, right? Like we're having this AI co-pilot jumpstart our work, right? So really having us work faster and more efficiently, for sure.
Yeah, I will share the blog post. So I have a detailed description of the new framework you guys can share.
Thank you. Can anybody share like a moment when you first realized that AI would fundamentally change how you build products and manage them?
So the first moment for me was when I was writing my 2025 strategy document. And I remember I was able to go very deep, but very quickly. So in the past, when it comes to productivity, right, you spend maybe a week or so really outlining, digging through the details, analyzing data. But with the use of AI, you're able to glean all these high-level insights so quickly. And you're able to kind of get your summary from what you need. And then that gives you all this extra time to really go deep and ask the hard questions and think in a more holistic framework. And I think that is when I realized you can have so much more impact as a product manager if you're actually using these tools. And it's gotten to the point where if you're not using AI in your home life as well as your work life, you're probably already a little behind. And that's kind of a crazy thought, right? Where, instead of Googling something, I'm chat GPTing it. I'm asking Claude. And I think that just kind of speaks to how fundamentally we're just changing everything that we do with the presence of AI.
I think that the moment where I realized it could really help me as a product manager was earlier this year when I too tried using the existing tools in order to write documents. And what I found when I just tried it out at first was that it's close, but it's not quite there. What I need, but it's more work for me to prompt it to do exactly what I want it to do than for me to actually write it myself. And then I found that I can create a persona based on all the documents that I've ever written, and that persona could be an extension of myself. And once I created that persona and updated it with all of the documents that I have, it actually worked. And that was magical.
Yeah, I was just going to respond to Mayan. I think that's so insightful because AI gives you what you give it, right? So if you're able to really be detailed and think about what you want to say, it's just able to enhance your voice, but it's not a substitute for your thinking or your voice. And I think that's just such a strong distinction that's so critical to highlight.
Jasmine, you want to go? You wanted to?
Yeah. I would love to add some of the insight what I have. So for me, it clicked actually when I was working on AI-powered enterprise search in one of my roles earlier, and I saw firsthand that how AI wasn't just a feature. I mean, it was change how we built and prioritize the features. Like it's not just for defining the requirements in isolation. It actually allowed us to observe real-time patterns, how employees are searching for the information, and then build around those insights what we have gathered. That was the moment, and I realized that AI is just not augmenting the product management work, but it's redefining like what great product can look like. So before me digging into that things, I even to know that search project which I'm working on would bring so much different insights which no one can even think of. So really glad like how we are on top of it and trying to learn all these different features, how AI is actually making our lives better. And then, of course, we're going to have fabulous products out for our customers.
That's incredible. I can tell you from my experience, the first time that I ever touched AI was in a company that Jenny and I worked together. It was kind of like in a gaming app. And I had the privilege of doing a product that kind of redact harmful behavior from our players on the platform. And I had to create the database, right? Create the interaction and how it will look in the product itself, the regular like PM job. And when I saw what it can do, right, I was really blown away. I'm like, it can do that? Like, and creating that from end to end and not just, the product requirement and the flow and all of that, creating the database and launching it taught me so much about this AI flow and what it can do that I said to myself, like, this is incredible. I want to do more of this. How can I do this more? It's incredible to see the impact and see how it behaves in real life. So thank you all for sharing it.
It just hit something which is very close to my heart. It actually reminds me of the journey how I got into this one. I remember the days I was in Lucid Motors, and at that time we had like ChatGPT is launched, and I was like very interested, man, how actually these things are working in the background. So my weekends and my coffee time was more on towards like how actually these LLMs and all those things are working. Then I saw like Notebook LLM came into existence as well. And I would say that I was fortunate enough to get into opportunity where I started working into the enterprise search. And that's where we were like, it was nothing different than the Notebook LLM. And I would see, I have goosebumps on right now telling that I remember the time when I'm thinking, man, I can't wait for the day being on working on this, how AI is actually working and what different we can do with it. Notebook LLM. And not that long after, I just got into a position, and then I am actually looking forward for the enterprise search at how we're gonna make all the searches together, talking to different customers, vendors. So that's how my journey started with the simple ChatGPT, Notebook LLM, and then enterprise AI search. So I can totally relate to Reut what you just mentioned.
That is so cool. Thank you for sharing that. As someone who's not directly in product, I have worked with Reut at many different organizations, and I've got to have a firsthand view of her building different things. And it's been really cool to then go market them and monetize them. but I wanted to talk about really how it's transforming product strategy. And so I'm really curious how all of you in the product manager world are using AI to make these better, faster decisions. Are you able to ingest customer data faster? Are you able to spit out these PRDs faster? What does that look like in your work?
So one of the tools I discovered is so magic. By the way, my YouTube videos, anything is not sponsored by this company, but I am big believer. I asked all my students to use it. It's called Dovetail. I think, pronounce it Dovetail. It's called Dovetail. It's great. Only 50 people company, and they're growing strong, like growing very rapidly. So how it works is when you do voice customer interviews, is let's break down the entire process, recording it and break down and mapping the insight into different requirements. So it's a very efficient tool supporting you guys to really make voice customer interview hours long. Voice customer interview, getting into great insight, so much better. And this is literally save so much time in the process. Nowadays, I research all different tools to figure out how can you actually save time and really get lots more. For some product, for example, especially for B2C product, eventually you're going to get access to customers. Lots of people try to either you do paid ads or organic content. If you do organic content, lots of time you learn how to use AI to create content. It's so crazy. And that I have so many LinkedIn posts went viral with like 1,000 views written by AI. The picture is me. Picture is not generated by AI. I have my picture, everything else written by AI. Just went viral one day after the other. It's like, wow, this is what AI can do. Now I told a secret, so now everybody can become a YouTuber and LinkedIn top voice. But
Well, thanks for sharing all of your secrets with us, Dr. Nancy. I'm really curious to maybe hear from Jasmeen, and how do you balance this like AI-driven insight piece with the human intuition in product strategy? How do you marry these two items?
It's a very great question. I think AI does provide us all the customer insights and things. Probably so much information we get. And yeah, taking into consideration the hallucination and all those things, I think right now where we are at the moment is we do spend some time with what we think is right and do some research. And then after that, I think 80 to 90% of data what we get online is fine. But then we are at the point like where I see myself, I would love to hear from the other wonderful women out here as well, that we tweak that information and we marry it together, seeing that, okay, some percentages will be like, oh, 80% of this data feels that, I'll just take from my example, that these people would be using this kind of charging infrastructure. This is AC charging or DC. So that percentages I do feel is little bit, we need to go back and make sure that those things are fine. Still, we are not at the point where we are 100% what we get out of those tools can be used as well. And I see that most of now, with so many different companies which are coming up, which actually consolidate all the customer data information if you have the right plugins and all, with the Chat GPT or the other tools what we have, either Perplexity and all, those numbers, I would say that definitely we go back, we do our own research and make sure that, yeah, those are fine.
Yeah, those like to add to it. I think going back to what Namisha was saying and what we talked about earlier, what you give AI is what you get. So it's not, I don't see it as replacing researchers in that sense. It's just aggregating the data in a way that's useful. And as a product manager, I can slice and dice it then based on what I need. And it will give me really great summaries and results for that. But I don't think that it at the point we're there yet where it completely replaces the human part of it, but it is very helpful. And echoing what Dr. Nancy was saying, Dovetail is a super helpful tool in that. And it's so easy to use, and you can really, it searches things across and you can really get a great summary for exactly what you're looking for. So totally plus one that.
I would add one more thing to that. Mayan, as you said, you get the data, what you have fed into it, right? And if we are using the tools and those tools are all linked through the APIs, through all our internal sources, yes, what we have there, I think it is very important at that time that aggregation and cleansing of data is being done so that whatever we come back with is the cleansed data, right? And then again, where we are at the moment is definitely product manager, lead product manager at the end of the day is going to be there to look into like what it is coming out is make sense or not. One more thing I have found is like with the Dovetail, very incredible tool. Thanks, Dr. Nancy, for bringing that up. Even I have used that as well. So it gives us the customer insights in the format what we want. I can have that in the format like if I'm going to drive, I can hear those as well, right? So I don't have to have those in the emails or in that thing. I think that is very incredible feature, which most of us can utilize. That's how it's going to save our product managers time, and we can utilize the time in actually thinking about the future, actually thinking about the strategy, and thinking about those problems which are being customers are going through, and how can we make it better.
So thanks for sharing that, Jasmeen. I was wondering if you'd all join me in imagining like an AI native product development process and what that might look like from day one. I'm curious what that could be like.
Yeah. So how I feel that is AI native product development. I guess let's go over as a product development process itself, right? So we start with some of the discovery, research, followed by some ideation, concepting, right? So how I feel that is each one of this different phase, we're going to be using the different tools in that. So now let's say if it is more of a discovery, like, so there are tools like Crimson, Hexagon, like all different tools are coming up. Like, how can we do the discovery? How can we do the research using those tools apart from the chat GPT? I think now is the time where we need to jump into those right tools, which so many our innovators have come up with solving that particular problem, right? Followed by like, what is the ideation we can have? So in that particular thing, we have different tools now. Miro, all this, right? They have come up with all different AI tools. Miro specifically with the AI now. I've seen that you can give some AI commands. Hey, can you help me in making the sequence diagram? I'll just tell that 3 steps there, right? And it will just come up with the sequence diagram. How it's helping is that, yeah, it's just saving the time, and I'm just have the swim lane or those diagrams being made in front of me. And of course, I have to go back and tweak some of the arrows there because some of the things got up and down. Then I'm in talking about next, like designing and prototyping. That's where like Figma, all those tools will be used. Then you have development. All the developers are already using the GitHub Copilot, which is out there, which helps them in talking. I mean, it helps the initial in the development, right? So they don't have to go back and develop the small things as well. So it helps them in reducing the time. And I have seen again the first hand, like when I was working on this search project, how development we were able to launch the things like in like I would say like very short amount of time. And then of course it impacts your ROI and all those things, which you get the good results. Testing and QA, there are different tools out there right now, which helps, and you don't have to go back. Regression testing and all those things can be done at the end of the day. And they'll be like, okay, this tool that we have to change the software, this code, and then you go back. And next day, the developer can go back and see that, okay, that makes sense. I can go back and do the changes. So regression testing, all those things have improved. So, and then it nothing less at the end, it comes like how the launch and growth is there, right? Then you have different tools. I haven't used though, but I've read about the Google Vertex AI as well, which definitely helps in track the product adoption is there, right? And how dynamically the feature rollout will be there. So you get the insights and you get back like how with the feedback you can improve the product itself. So that's how I see that each of these phases gonna have different tools which each of the product managers would be using. It will reduce the time, reduce number of people working on it, but at the end of the day, to get to the customer's unmet need. And
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
I think what you'll end up seeing as well is AI will allow different aspects of the product lifecycle development become more specialized. And by that I mean you'll have a specialization in building out, core features. Then you'll have a growth level. Then you'll have a level that's more about internal tooling. And I think up until now, we've seen a lot of these life cycles and the development processes being very focused on what is scalable and manageable for every single team so it can be replicated and we can move people within teams. Now, what I think we'll end up seeing is, okay, you need to, take something and change it in a week. Okay, well, PM, you can use these tools to help do your ideation. You can analyze your data using this other tool. You can go and build out your pilot using Cursor and build out your own database and quickly test things out. And you don't need to wait for, these other resources to become available, and they can really focus on driving the core business and core metrics. So I'm really excited to see that happen. And I think we're just going to be able to see a lot of movement in companies if product managers are really able to hone in on what they're focused on.
Also, what could change in this space is being able to parallelize things much easier. Imagine if you're just starting with an idea, and AI helps you, create the strategy and the PRD for it. Then automatically a proof of concept prototype is being created. Then this proof of concept prototype, lovable style, then it's shared, with the engineering team, and perhaps like the AI assistant also helps, with the engineering team on how to actually build it. The research team can test it while all of this is happening, and the cycle can shorten, like in terms of iterations. Then we can use AI to come up with guardrails. I think that's where humans are still needed with the guardrails, putting guardrails and then creating QA test cases in order to test that out. So I think that there are lots of things that can change, like can happen much quicker in the cycle, which are very, very exciting. And I think that in that case, the product manager role has to change one in the way that we think about products. And I think there will be advantage to product managers who come from different disciplines. I think that innovation comes from connections which might not be thought of unless you come from different disciplines and put things together, like remixing. And second, having a very critical mindset and being able to look above and foresee problems, and also foresee where the AI is failing, or where the AI is spitting out like data which might not be the most correct. So I think these are the changes.
Mayan, can you talk a bit more about this? Like, we just chatted about all the wonderful things that AI brings to product managers' plate, but there are some risks, some challenges, as you just mentioned, that we have to be careful and be very mindful of them as we're building our product. So what's your take on that?
I can tell you from my experience, I am concerned with people overly relying on AI. Overly relying in the sense where, AI can create these wonderful documents like we talked about before, but they're kind of vanilla. Vanilla in the sense that there's not much standing behind those words. Those words are meaningless. And I think that it takes a strong PM to understand what they're trying to say, or the ideas that they're trying to convey, and make sure that the words that are created really convey that in the most succinct and best way possible. And I do see other peers, product managers, overly relying, not looking at the output, putting things out there from an ego point of view. Like, it looks good, it reads well, it looks fantastic. But when you go inside and actually read what's there, you don't understand anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Being the human in the loop and making sure that you review that output and not take it for granted. But also from, we threw that word around hallucinating, but didn't really touch point on it. I'm sure we all saw AI hallucinate, if it's ChatGPT, if it's in the product that we're building. How would you address something like that? Because from my experience, right, it catches you like in the weirdest things, right? When you audit it and you look at the input, I'm like, why is it doing this, right? Like, so my kind of guardrails, as you mentioned, Mayan, is, do a kind of contain environment where I keep iterating and testing the AI tooling, monitoring it and seeing those hallucinations and what can I do to prevent them. But I'm curious to hear if you have any other kind of strategy to avoid a hallucination or inaccuracy in your products.
I can jump in here. Well, I think outside of the standard, read what's coming out of your AI tools, make sure you're actually getting deep into it and not just taking it for its word. I think it's preventing that overdependency on the tool itself, right? It isn't a substitution for you as a person. It's there to help you. As amazing as AI is and how much it can improve our workflow and our productivity, really, we're working on models that have now come to consumers. Maybe we're on like the 10th, 15th iteration that's really made it out to the public, right? So what that means is that there's a lot of inherent bias in these tools. As much as we'd love to say these are unbiased tools, it has bias. We know it has bias. I don't know if You all saw the rounds I was making in June, but if you go into one of your tools and it says, hey, can you create an image of what you think I look like? It comes up with the wildest scenarios. So you know that it's taking in what you're saying and translating it to what it thinks it needs to be. So I think that's one aspect of avoiding these hallucinations. And I think no matter what in this industry, that's how you're going to be able to separate yourselves as a product manager. You're either that PM that was overly reliant on AI and you copy paste, or you're the PM that uses it to elevate what you're already thinking and what you have in your mind. And I think that's really going to help, honestly, elevate companies and elevate strategy as well. And we're going to be able to build things that actually help people versus things that look good on the surface.
Yes, I have some technical or tactical. Okay, cut off. I agree. And actually, in addition to that, I also have some tactical strategies people can use and also use some real life examples. Within our company, I have two AI products. One is AI interviewer. The other one is AI chatbot. So I call that this is AI version of me. Literally, people can do product management interview with my AI version. It's available. Anyone want to give it a try? Just let me know. So when we develop this AI product, I've seen a lot of hallucinations. I want to share with in practical sense, what did we do? For example, when we do AI interviewer, basically you are interviewing with AI version of me for all the product management question. Crazy. And we trained the AI model using my past 4 years, hundreds of hours recordings, me doing mock interviews with hours and with my student, train the AI model. And then gradually we see those kind of AI start to hallucinate. So the way we start to reduce this, we start to introduce different kind of, number one, prompt engineering. You start to tell AI exactly, when you ask this, make sure to give me Dr. Nancy Lee's style of answer. For example, we create our own framework, like Gucci framework, I computer science PhD framework, very, very unique framework. And AI is going to change Gucci to different kind of Gucci. AI like stands for different things. And then we say, this is Dr. Nancy Lee framework, one part to do it. The second part is we should also like reverse prompt engineering, because this is in real life, which is also funny. We have another student, their team create the interior design AI tool. So you take picture of your kitchen, and then you upload to AI and you select the type of style you want, the tile, the color, anything in the kitchen, and AI gonna give you a new kitchen. Brand new design, looks so much like a real thing. However, the first time we start to develop this real life AI product, AI started to put models in the kitchen. It's so funny. For some reasons, they think you have a good looking kitchen, you have good looking women in it, or men, whatever you put in. Interesting. And then the reverse prompt engineering saying that do not putting women or human or any object besides this and that. So it's the one way to tell this is what to do, follow this. The other one is don't do it. Of course, the second way is increase the quality of your data, which is also very straightforward, so you can have a less hallucination. And then recently, we'll also start to change our architecture diagram. We'll also start to introduce a system architecture of how we build AI interview. In the past, start with prompt engineering, get some fast result, and then we start using RAG to feed into my training data. And now we're doing multi-agent model, so we can have a smarter, fast interaction. And regarding interview feedback, because if you do interview with my AI Nancy, you will see there's a back and forth. And the entire architecture design originally only using RAG is going bigger and bigger, taking longer to process the entire information. Now we're introducing multi-agent model to help people to have a better result, a more accurate result, and faster as well. Just
all are great methods and techniques to make sure, our products are reliable and accurate and kind of like remove the hallucination and keeping the human in the loop, right? I want us to really now take a turn here and we talked about like different tools, and all of us are using them in our day-to-day life, but also in our professional life. I wonder if you can tell us which AI tool for product management do you have a strong feeling about this week? Because I know you probably use a lot all the time. So what are you really passionate about and focusing on this week?
But I love Lovable. I think it's such a wonderful tool. So as a product manager, I'm sure that many of us know, the PowerPoint route where we're trying to draw stuff for our designers and like explain what that would look like and behave. And with Lovable, you can just put in a prompt and it generates it automatically, and it works well. It's such a great tool to help communicate with designers and stakeholders. So I love it.
Lovable too. It's such an incredible tool. Thank you for sharing that, Mayan. Namisha, what do you got for us?
I always go back to my tried and true products, and I am absolutely obsessed with Claude. And what I love about it, I know it's one of those tools that's been there for a while now. It's not kind of specialized, but I think that's what I absolutely love about it. It is able to interject that human aspect into whatever you're thinking. So if I have a prompt, it doesn't just spit out an answer that is pulled from the internet or something technical. It's able to actually, if you prompt it correctly, give you insight into what a specific person could be. So I could put a persona in there and it'll actually take the time to think through the different aspects of the persona. It'll tell you what it's processing, and then it'll actually give you information that makes sense that you would probably come to yourself versus I've tried other tools and some of them they're too analytical or they're too surface level.
Claude is amazing.
I was just waiting for my turn to be there. So I am a very data-driven and analytical person just by nature. And for me, the tool which I have explored lately is the Amplitude, which I'm loving the most actually. It helps me translating the user behavior into the actually product direction. It gives the insights, all the surface hidden trends, like what exactly is going on, which helps in making the informed decision. And of course, at the end of the day, with those decisions, you are able to pull those right features right on time and roadmap that accordingly.
I used Amplitude all the time.
There you go.
Love the way that you can, do the event structure there and how it's capturing it. They recently, I think, launched their new product that does like auto captures the events. So it's really easy to just kind of like it reads your product and gives you pre-baked events as well. So love Amplitude, +1 on that. Really insightful. Thanks for sharing, Jasmine.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Nancy, what about you? What's your favorite AI tool of the week?
Fathom. Have you guys used that before? It's a meeting tool. Help me save hundreds of hours. It's so great. It's going to give you action items after finishing meetings. Because product manager, we're in meetings all the time, too much conversation nowadays. But if you're able to make the meeting faster and give you all the notes and action items, and you don't need to remember what's going on there, what AI will help you remember.
That is fantastic, right? Something off AI for a second. What kind of like non-AI recommendation you would recommend for our viewers and our listeners to maybe try out this week?
I think AI, as we've been, saying this past hour, is really going to help our productivity and our ability to move faster. But I think the one thing that we will always need to keep is our ability to tell a story and be able to really build that human connection. And there's this wonderful audiobook that I've listened to multiple times called Storyworthy. And it's really interesting. It's actually by this person who just does like story pitches, and he's a really, really well-known podcaster. He's won hundreds of competitions, just being able to tell stories about his personal life, but in a way that really lands. No matter how much data you're able to analyze, no matter what strategy you write, if you're not able to present that and communicate that to your stakeholders, all of that work doesn't resonate the same way. So would highly recommend this audiobook.
I just listened this week to Jay Shetty interviewing Madonna. It's a 2-hour conversation, and I thought it was really inspiring. She was talking about her Kabbalah background and how she really utilizes her belief during hard times. So I really thought it was inspiring.
Thank you for sharing, Maya. That sounds like super fun.
I think being product managers, I think the quality which differentiates us from other folks is being empathetic. How do you connect? How do you have that empathy? How do you feel that that is what the customer is going through and how I want to resolve that? This is not something which AI gonna bring. This is something which we need to have, and it cannot be replaced. So being empathetic is something which product managers would have it, and how do you relate to those problems? And I think bring that thing that you're able to solve that problem which customer is going through. Other thing I would like to say is, which even I have discovered right now, and I have ordered that book. It's called Power and Prediction. It's more towards how AI is shifting some of the decision making inside the organizations and all, then as well. So for me, it is why I got attracted to this is probably because how AI is going to change the nature of decisions which we make, right? Like, oh, this is better, or X is better, or Y is better.
Well, one sec.
Okay. Dr. Nancy Lee, do you have any non-AI recommendation for our audience and viewers?
This week, I just learned from one of my students. He told me a story regarding how he discovered different kind of food is able to impact kids, especially toddler. Sometimes toddler goes tantrums. And then he is specialized in researching regarding health, like what kind of chemical reacting based on different things. Basically, he discovered that different body dynamic or chemical in his son's body reacting to different kind of strawberries and banana berries. Then he basically told me that, well, anytime his son eats any piece of strawberry, 1 hour later, guarantee have tantrum. I was like, wow, this is new thing I just learned. I want to apply to my son as well. So there are different ways to really see child in different angle. Maybe the chemical eating different food can lead into different kids behave different ways.
We're all learning together at this point, right? And we're on that subject, Dr. Nancy Lee. Can you tell us how Women XAI help you be more successful in what you do?
Yeah, totally. You guys are very good building communities. And based on my understanding, you put women into different tiers, like based on the seniority level. And I think that's amazing process for all the women to actually share knowledge. I think Women X AI give women the opportunity to grow together. And more than just in the past, we have lots of like women in product, different levels, but they never structured the way you guys making the community and also making for free for others as well. There's such a great opportunity for everyone to grow together. So I highly recommend everyone join the communities and totally free.
Thank you, Dr. Nancy. I really appreciate it. Yes, our community is free. Please join in to one of our tiers. Love that. Namisha, what about you? How can Women XAI help you be more successful?
Honestly, outside of, I would love to meet more women working in AI, learn more about what people are working on, what they're doing, how to be a voice at the table. I think we need more women in AI.
Thank you so much, Namisha. Jasmeen?
I think amplifying the voices for the women in the tech field, especially in the AI. And I love the themes you guys come with. Either it's like through different podcasts, through the panel discussions, and all the topics. Like, I think it caters like all different folks who are out in the industry. And definitely there is something, I remember going over some of the things, the recommendations which you guys brought up about what are the different tools, different audience. So, right, it's like beginner to the professional, and whosoever is looking for those things, and they can definitely come in and they can take your recommendation. And my best part is, what I love the most is Saturday Social. Wow, that's the amazing idea. Like how you bring back the women, how that conversation keeps on going, and they bring it. That's a funny fact, along with some of the technical discussion. You get to know the person itself as well.
Thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate your input and sharing your experience and insight with our listeners. So thank you for joining us for another episode of Women XAI, the podcast.